Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Yes. And here we go. So as you can see, looks like I'm by myself right now. Might be by myself for the whole show. G's not gonna be here with us, but might have some other guests popping up. Might have my guy Transform show up. So we are gonna go ahead and we're gonna do this thing, man. I got some pretty interesting topics I think to talk to you guys about tonight. And like I said, it may just be me, and that's cool because every now and then I just come on here and kick it by myself, and that's all good. So as you can see, we're definitely going to be talking about some early college football ranks. I'm not going to get too much into that, and the reason why is if you were with me last college football season on this show, I had my main man Ryan Langford, former University of Illinois Fighting Illini wide receiver, former Indianapolis Colt, and former Canadian Football League wide receiver, joined me as the Format Podcast official college football analyst. And he's going to be starting back in that position again this season. So we're going to have some fun with that and can't wait for him to come on. But I'm just going to kind of touch on that stuff a little bit this episode here. Then we're going to talk about Kendrick Perkins, who I thought had seen the light, but maybe not. Then we're going to touch on what we talk new super team, which I can't believe this was even said, but we're going to get into it. And finally, Caitlin Clark, back from the Olympic break, had a really good game last night. So we're definitely going to get on that. It's not that serious. What's good, my man? Steve Splendor, what's going on? So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to touch on these topics. We're going to talk about them, and we're going to do what we do here on the Format Podcast, and that's get into some good sports talk. But before we do all that, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can. First and foremost, though, if you're in the chat, I appreciate you. Whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on YouTube, please go ahead, go over to the YouTube page. The YouTube page, make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps. What's up, Nick? What's going on, man? It really helps. The more likes we have, it helps the channel get out to more people because that's a big part of that YouTube algorithm. So let's do that. We are back to the NBA, right? And why wouldn't we be back? Somebody's here. Guess who it is? All right, let's see what we got. There we go. My main man, the Transformer. What's good, brother?
What's going on, man? What's going on? We here. How you doing?
Saying doing well, man. Thank you. Appreciate you back, and let's get it.
Absolutely.
What's up, Edward? Yeah, no doubt. So that actually never happened. Real quick, that part where all the guys went in and they laid their jerseys on the coach's desk, and then at that last game where the whole stadium was chanting Rudy, 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 that never really happened. That was wonderful Hollywood, cinematic.
It was fugazi.
Exaggeration. And look, man, you know how they do for movies. They always got to add some dramatic effect. Oh man, L Boogie, man, I see you, man. I'm sorry I didn't shout you out. I see you, man. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. I'm doing good, man. Thank you for showing love to the show. All right. Yeah, so let's get to it, man. And by the way, Florida State.
Oh, I can't wait, baby.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. November 9th, you said? I might go.
We gotta put together some type of some type of bet or something.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I mean, what can we can't bet here. We both bald, so
right.
We can't do that.
Like maybe something like if Florida State wins, I'll come on dressed up like a Seminole or something. If Notre Dame win, you gotta do the leprechaun thing or something.
Oh man, you know what? I would take that bet, but I'm anti-Celtic so hard, man. I don't want that heebie-jeebies on me, bro. I would just rather wear a Notre Dame jersey. I would do that.
We'll come up with something.
I would do that. Yeah. But the leprechaun is also Celtic stuff, and I'm like, nah.
Man, that's two different things, man.
That's blasphemy, man.
All right. So let's get to it, man. So Kendrick Perkins, man. Why are we talking about Kendrick Perkins? And of course, in the thumbnail, you see LeBron James there. Why are we doing that? Because I
You
thought
love to
Kendrick
talk about
Perkins.
LeBron James. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
absolutely.
answering your
He's one
question.
of the most polarizing figures in sports, and people care about him, right? They want to hear about
Mm-hmm.
him. So I thought Kendrick Perkins, I thought he had gained some sense, right? I thought he left the LeBronite cult and all that, man. I thought his brain started working properly as a regular grown man should. But no, it hasn't. And we're gonna
Mm.
discuss that and kind of like what's going on here, right? So if you've been with me a while, couple months back, maybe what is this, August? So
It's August.
probably about 4 or 5 months back, I did a show because I was so shocked that Kendrick Perkins was really calling out LeBron James. Really, I was shocked that a lot of media members were calling out LeBron for some of his nonsense, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so this was like pre-draft, and this was after Darvin Ham got fired and all that. And I was really breaking some of that stuff down.
I'm I'm so glad G not here. That would have just made it worse. Y'all would have went on another 5-minute tangent.
Right. No doubt. Oh, that's a good one, Nick. Oh man. All right. So yeah, back to it. So I thought that Kendrick Perkins had kind of come to his senses, but I don't know. It seems like he couldn't
I
he
feel like,
couldn't
man, he's letting the tape speak for itself, man. The man saw some tape and was like, you know
Mhm.
what? Sometimes, you make drastic decisions. You know what I mean?
Nah,
But once you prove with further evidence, you start to think like, man, I mean, what can I say?
I think
Like,
I personally think Kendrick was just, he was laying there and all of a sudden he heard in his head, every time I try to leave, something keeps me back,
oh,
me back.
stop.
He said, I can't do it, Bron. I can't do
Not
it.
Tyrese, man. You had a man singing some Tyrese, man. Like, relax,
Oh
G.
man, I'm trying to tell you, that's what it seemed like. So let's go back to what he was saying before. Because remember, he got into this thing with LeBron, and LeBron like unfollowed him on
Unfollowed
IG.
him on social media, yeah.
And remember, he was like, imagine you got to unfollow another man, and like, he went on. I'm not gonna call it a tirade, but he kind of was speaking strongly against Bron, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at one of the things that he said. I cut this from the episode that I did a while back, and then we'll come forward a little bit.
LeBron's problem is the accountability because he's saying cryptic and subliminal tweets. They're not even subliminal. You know exactly what he's saying because we've heard it for the better part of 20 years. So we know exactly what he means. We know exactly what he's saying. But the fact of the matter is that if he could have had Ty Lue or he could have had an Eric Spoelstra, do I believe LeBron James would have had more titles? Yes. But he has what he has. It is what it is. I don't think all those coaches hurt this argument. The only thing that hurts LeBron James is that they don't think we know that he's a large part of the reason why these coaches are no longer coach him. That's the problem that I have first and foremost.
Shannon, you said if he could have Eric Spoelstra, he would have more rings. Damn it, he had Eric Spoelstra. He chose to leave Miami
and left.
He didn't want to play for Eric Spoelstra no more in that franchise because they wouldn't do it the LeBron James way because Pat Riley stood behind Eric Spoelstra. Okay, so when I think about the comments when you said, about Jordan and his expectations, you know why the expectations are different for LeBron James? Because LeBron James put these expectations. No, LeBron James put these expectations on himself. Because LeBron James is always calling himself on several occasions the GOAT. LeBron James is always speaking out about it. We don't hear Jordan calling himself the GOAT. Here's another thing. LeBron James, this is another thing, man, that I feel like is gonna hurt LeBron. We already know what type of basketball mind LeBron is. I think he's one of the most brilliant basketball minds that ever touched the damn basketball. But when you start making it a case where you're the smartest person in the room all the time, that's a problem. And that's hard for any coach to step into that seat and come in and try to hold you accountable.
All right, so that was Perk. Just obviously we heard Shannon Sharp at the beginning, but that was Perk, and he's this was in the aftermath of the Darvin Ham firing, and Perk was like, when I heard that, I was shocked. And then there was another comment, I didn't cut it, but another one where he was saying that LeBron don't need to be at Bronny's pre-draft workouts, stay your ass home. That's what he said, pardon the language. We don't need you out there tweeting. There was, so there was a few. It wasn't a back and forth exchange because LeBron always wants to appear like he's not involved, but we know what it is. But there was a few different points where Kendrick was really going at LeBron, and I was like, "Yo, what's going on here?" You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Okay, he's finally manning up." But then after we saw LeBron James win the MVP in the Olympics, which quick digression, I think this is one of the few things you and I agreed on when it comes to LeBron is that we both feel like he was fine for MVP, right? We weren't in objection to him getting it because his consistency throughout that Olympic tournament, I think I'm cool with that, right?
Correct.
A lot of people are saying Steph Curry, and I understand that without Steph Curry, they don't win the chip because he came up magical in the semi and the final, and all that's great.
Where were you in the 5 games prior?
Thank you. He was missing in action, right?
Yeah.
So you and I, we definitely agree on that one, right? I don't think it was a huge gap, but I do think that LeBron's consistency probably is that's not what led him to get the MVP. We know other factors did, but I'm cool with him getting it based on his play throughout the tournament. Okay, that said, following that, Mike Greenberg of ESPN's Get Up, he had his show, and he had Perk on there, and they were talking, and this is where it got interesting to me because remember, I just played that soundbite, and I'm thinking, okay, Perk is finally, he's finally coming into his own. He's telling the truth and all that. And then I hear this. Check it out.
Quickly, let me get a take on LeBron. He's the MVP of this. He's now the first player, if I have this right, to win the gold medal in Olympic basketball in 3 different decades. He adds the MVP trophy. It's maybe the only thing he hadn't accomplished in his career. What does this mean for LeBron James?
The greatest of all time. And Greeny, I know you might not like this morning, but he got one up on MJ right now. But LeBron James, he was consistently, since the start of this tournament, the best player on Team USA. Yes, at 39 years of age, but he did it in all fashions. If you wanted him to guard every position on the defensive side of things, he did that. If you wanted him to play the point and get the team orchestrated and make sure guys got the ball when they need it, he did that. If you wanted him to take over 4 quarters throughout the course of this Olympics, he did that. Everything LeBron James did at this age was a beautiful thing to watch in the Olympics, and he's one up on Jordan right now. He's been my GOAT, but every time he gets one up on MJ, because now he has 3 gold medals, MJ has 2. I mean, this is what we watching. He's the most important player in basketball.
Every time I try to leave,
someone keeps pulling me back.
Yeah, right. That's every time Perk is talking now.
That's a classic, man. You ain't finna just sit here and just play that, and we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that today.
You lucky I ain't get the drop, man. I'd be pressing the button and have Tyrese doing it. Man. I should have thought about that earlier. But okay, so I've been talking a lot about it, man. I would love your thoughts on this back and forth and Kendrick switching back now.
I mean, from what I'm hearing, Kendrick, it feels like he wanted to talk about more of the off the court stuff in the segment that you're talking about with Stephen A. The mic conversation was more about, okay, we're just strictly talking about basketball now. I mean, you're gonna play the laugh right in the middle of my conversation. Brett woke up with a Draymond head in his bed and backed off. Wait, what? Pert woke up with a Draymond head in his back.
Remember The Godfather? Remember The Godfather where they cut the dude loved his
horses? Oh, snap, man, boy. I was not catching that reference that fast.
Yeah.
He tossed that one in there, man. Pause.
Facts.
But
right, man.
But no, man. I mean, it sounds like he's talking about 2 different things. It was more off the court when he was talking about on First Take. I believe that's what it was with Stephen A on it. And then what he said on Get Up was more about like on the court. Because I mean, if you hear what he said, he was like, nobody calls themselves the GOAT, but then he never stated whether he was the GOAT or not when he was talking to Stephen A. When he's talking to Mike, he was like, that's my GOAT. He said, I'm calling him the GOAT. He's always been my GOAT. You know what I mean? So it's like splitting hairs a little bit in the conversations, that's the differences. But, you know, when you go back, you listen to the first one, you're like, okay, that's more like off the court that he's really digging at LeBron Pauls. But then when it comes to the Mike conversation, I mean, Mike on Get Up, excuse me, not Michael Jordan, but when he's talking to Mike, it's more like he's keeping it on the court. He's talking about on the court conversation. You know what I mean? So that's what I got from it, man. At the end of the day, man, these guys they switch their opinions on these talk shows every single day. I've seen Skip Bayless from one of the godfathers of. Speaking of Godfather, one of the godfathers of media broadcasts and stuff like that. I literally see him say one thing and 3 weeks later say an entirely different thing, contradicting what he said 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy. They act like you can't go back and hear what they said. Like
exactly.
It's not out there for public consumption.
Exactly. I can go back and repeat, like, okay, you just said something else about Tom Brady 3 weeks ago, but now you're discrediting it when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. You know how Skip Bayless used to get.
Yeah, you got to make it fit. Yeah,
you got to make it fit.
Yeah, I try. I really try a lot to be consistent in the positions that I bring. That's not to say that if new information presents itself, I can never change. But I really try to remain consistent. You can't be flip flopping back and forth with your stances, and it's frustrating to me because when that whole thing with LeBron went down, I think Stephen A, with his permission, said on air that he being Kendrick Perkins had texted Stephen A and Mike Wilbon and said, "Man, y'all made me change my mind." Or, something to that effect on who the GOAT is, right? Because I think it should just be about what happens on the court between the lines, but I also feel like there's a lot of the other stuff, unfortunately, gets factored in. Like it's a total thing, right? Influence on the game and popularity and skill set and awards and winning and all these different things end up adding in, right? Because what's one of the things we talk about all the time is how influential Michael Jordan was, how influential Kobe Bryant was, right? This quick side note, I did some long-term substitute teaching a couple years ago, right? Teaching 8th grade. And this is well after Kobe had died, right? God bless the dead. And I'm seeing kids balling up paper and shooting it in the trash can, and they're yelling, Kobe!
Kobe! Yeah,
right.
We've been doing that for years, decades.
Right. So I say that to say, though, that just shows like the level of influence that that a player has. Like nobody yells LeBron, nobody says LeBron, nobody wears LeBron's shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like
whoa. I did my bad.
Okay,
I'm a sneaker guy, but that's different.
It's all good. Okay. But I mean, in general, I don't think he's as influential to the game as these other guys, as a Steph Curry, obviously as a Michael Jordan, as a Kobe Bryant. I don't. Now, does that mean he hasn't had an all-time great career? Of course not. He's had an all-time great career. So all that's saying, anyway, my whole point here is that Kendrick Perkins, I really thought that, okay, he's on the way, he's on the road to redemption. But then next thing you know, you hear this, and I'm like, wait, what? So now here's a question for you, right? Notice he said that he's got one up on Mike, right? Okay, he's got one up on Mike. Cool. How does he
First of all, what up, Steve, man? I see you in the chat, bro. What's going on, brother?
Yeah. So how does he have one up on Mike? Everyone is saying, oh, Mike never got a Olympic MVP. That award was created in like 2004. What are we doing? You don't think that if Mike could have had one? Say again.
He still would have got it if he played back then. Charles would have got it.
See, this is what we forget. See, here's the other thing. We always think about the dream team. Do we remember that Michael Jordan was on the gold medal winning 1984 Olympic team? And he averaged almost 18 points a game on that team under Bobby Knight, who is a strict system guy, right? People forget that. And I believe he also won gold medal with FIBA in the FIBA, right? So he's got 3 gold medals. So people act like, but they want to be disingenuous. They don't want to do the research, not you. They want to be lazy in the way they're thinking so they can push this pro LeBron narrative. And this is the stuff that when I bring it up, oh, you a hater. You wake up every day hating on blah, 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 blah. Cool, right? That's why you laughing.
We're not going to lie, man. The love lately has been good. It's been a good even Steven. It's been very 50-50.
Yes.
So I like that. I like that, Bruce. No, you know what I mean?
Well, listen, I try to be objective. It's not about love or hate. It's about trying to tell it how it is, and I've always said the reason that people call me a hater or people like me who point out LeBron's flaws constantly is because we're so inundated by the mainstream sports media with LeBron worship. So if you're on the other side of that, you're a hater, but they don't realize the other side of that is being a lover, right? That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But any one point. So anyway, yeah, I was totally shocked. And so I'm like, K-Perk, what are you talking about? He got one up on Jordan. How? Jordan couldn't win that award, and if he could, if he would have. Like, it's the absurdity doesn't even make sense to me, man.
So he's counting the 3. It's 3-2, right? Because I mean, you can't count the FIBA. FIBA's not an Olympic. He's talking about Olympic
That's
gold
fine.
medal. He's
Okay.
not talking about FIBA, right?
Right, but he's talking
So
about the
3-2.
MVP is the reason that he's got one up on Mike. That's what he said.
I mean, he also said 3 is more than 2. He said that too.
Okay.
He was like 3 goals is more than 2. So that was a part of his conversation. So I mean, I get it. It's to me, you know, the hype is more of a recency bias type of thing. You know, you just seen it. You're just amazed about it. Like the Steph Curry for MVP. Like it was recency bias that people were saying that he should have won MVP. I'm like, okay, but were we saying anything about Steph Curry being MVP? Literally 3 games ago. 3 games ago, did we say we were asking where he was at? You know, we was trying to get him to come to the games. So
hey, Steve is right. Michael Jordan don't have one of these either.
Has a mid-season tournament ban in Nebraska. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Michael Jordan.
You act like LeBron created it. You act like LeBron created it. LeBron just went to go win it. All he did, man, just like, hey, man, let's go win it. You know what I mean?
No. But you know, and I know there are some people, not you, but there are some people who try to act like, oh, Jordan never won. Like, seriously?
It was just created, guys. Like,
right. Like, come on, man. And again,
you can only compare that award from 2024 here on out. You can only compare that award from there.
Right.
You can't compare that award to nothing else in the past.
And obviously the Lakers won the inaugural. That's in the books, and we can't do anything about that. So, you know, big kudos to them for that. But like, we can't use that to say that somebody prior to his existence never got it, and that's a kudos.
Yeah, that's not fair. That's not fair,
man. Right.
That's
so I don't know, man. I mean,
recency bias, man. You know, he deep down, that man loved LeBron. You know, he played with him, played against him. You know what I mean? That man loves LeBron. I mean, I think that hurt him to his heart when LeBron unfollowed him. It hurt him. He was like, "Oh man, whoa! I mean, I thought we was boys, man. I'm up here defending you every day."
That's what he said. He's like, you couldn't call me, Bron. You couldn't call me. You know me, bro. 15 years old, bro. I'm like, whoa, Perk, chill, bro.
And then now that he just seen him on the you know, the biggest national stage, you know, get dunked on by a G Leaguer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a shout out for G, man. I had to throw that in there. Pause. But you know, get dunked on by a G Leaguer, but you know, win the gold medal. You know, I mean, he did it in great fashion. I mean, he got MVP, and like I said, it was warranted. There was nobody else that was close, in my opinion, my personal opinion, that could have got MVP. It was rightfully deserved. I heard somebody say it was manufactured. I don't know how you manufacture somebody to win MVP. It's kind of crazy. You got to literally play the game.
No, but I think that when we say manufactured, it's that they want LeBron to get everything, the powers that be, and they'll do everything to make it happen.
Negative. What did we see on the court, man? That's outside of the lines. I don't do that stuff, man.
Okay, you don't have to do it, but we know the wild stuff happens, right? What about when he got dunked on early in his career at the Nike camp, and Nike snatched up everybody's phones and cameras to make sure they had the footage, but one guy was able to sneak out with it? That's the only reason.
I don't get what that has to do with the MVP.
No, but what I'm saying, I'm talking about the whole manufactured piece, right? We're talking about how his career has been curated and manufactured. That's one example. Another example, when he destroyed Lenny Cook, when Lenny Cook was the #1 player in the country at the ABCD camp, right? And then that following preseason, Lenny Cook is on Boston squad, and Lenny Cook is getting busy, and he's all amped up because he's ready to go against LeBron, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna kill this dude. And guess what? The league told Boston to sit Lenny Cook down and not let him play that game. Like, that happened. So when we talk about manufactured and curated, it's not to say LeBron isn't great, but you know, things have happened to kind of continue to push the narrative, right? Other all-timers didn't need all that. That's what people like me and others say, that when we get called a hater. Tracking?
No, I get that. I mean, and your explaining of manufactured is well and valid, but that has nothing to do with that MVP.
Okay. I mean,
nothing to do with it. I mean, you can say what you want. I mean, you literally had to go lead the team in rebounds, assists, and damn near points if it wasn't for Steph Curry going nuclear in the last two games. So I mean, if you look at the game in between the lines, you looked at the game.
I'm with you.
Every single game, Bron bought it. He brought it. You know,
I didn't disagree with you that LeBron should
have.
Yeah,
no. I'm just saying.
No, I got you. And Steve, you have a good point here. That's tough. I don't think you can. Other than
you can't.
You make sure that he has the minutes, and you allow the system to be in a way that allows him to do what he does. That's probably the only thing you can say, right? Because if Steve Kerr was running the real Golden State system, LeBron would have been completely ineffective in that. Completely ineffective. Exactly. That's what I just said. Last name. I didn't even see you. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Right. Right. There's no way you should be playing 27
minutes a night in the game. What does that got to do with anything? When
Olympics.
You're the best player on the floor, you leave the best player out there.
No, when you play that many minutes.
Why did Jason Tatum get 7 minutes a game? Because every time he got on the floor, he couldn't prove anything. So guess what? Bench. Less than your minutes. That doesn't make sense.
No,
he played
it does
27
make
minutes
sense.
a night. He was the best player out there.
When you play that many minutes, it allows you to get the numbers that you have to get, right?
Well, you're not even shooting that many shots. He averaged what, 7 shots a game, 7, 8 shots a game. Come on, man.
I don't know.
We're acting like he attempted Steph Curry amount of shots.
I'm not saying he was running and gunning out there, but when you have that time on the floor, it allows you to hit certain numbers. And everybody knows LeBron can only play a certain way. We know that, and he needs.
It's called a LeBron system. Yes, it's called a LeBron system that he plays, but his minutes don't have nothing to do with that. If we need a bucket and we're down, you gonna leave LeBron James in. There was plenty of times you even heard the commentary was like, "It's time for Bron and KD to check back in. They sat down too long." Come on now. even if you're watching the game, we're not looking at. I watched foresight. We're looking at. Oh, he had 27 minutes tonight. Oh, wow. He should have got that many. No, if you look at the game, LeBron needed to play he should have probably needed to play 28 minutes, 29 minutes. He probably would have never gotten a hole. You know what I mean? So I hate when people do that. Like, come on.
I don't know.
Look at the games, and then we can talk about minutes. Now, if we in there, we up 30, and Bron's still in the game. Okay, at that point, all right, he's just taking all the minutes. But literally, them games was close.
You know what? That's something we're gonna have to check. Like the Brazil game and the Puerto Rico game where they were smoking them. I'm wondering how many. Hey, chat. Anybody want to go ahead and look that up for us? How many minutes LeBron played in the Olympics against Brazil and Puerto Rico? Those were the two main games where they smoked everybody, right? Let's see if we can find that out. I think that's in the FIBA. FIBA Olympic.
Oh, you looking it up too?
Yeah. See if you can find it. I'll see if I can find it too. Okay. Yeah, because I'm very curious to know. That would be interesting, right? Yeah. If those games were blowouts, but he was still out there putting up a lot of minutes.
I guess you gotta go Team USA, right?
Okay. See box score.
Did you find the game?
Yeah. Let's see. Does it have the minutes? So in the blowout game against Brazil, he played 17 and a half minutes.
Pretty low.
Yeah, it's reasonably low. I'd say so. Let's go to the Puerto Rico. That's reasonably low. Let's see. Smoke Puerto Rico.
Last name, but back in the day, those guys were playing 18 to 20 minutes, but they was up 40 at halftime. They didn't need to play no more than 18, 20 minutes, man.
Right.
Come on, man. Know the game, guys. Know the game. I love your takes, but know the game. Okay, so that makes sense, right? So in blowout games, he sat down. Everybody else got their minutes. You know, the 17, 18, that's relatively even, you know, mediocre or low.
That's not terrible.
And in the big games, he played the big minutes because we needed him to be in the game.
About 21 minutes against South Sudan.
Which game? The first or the second one?
The second one.
The second one.
Yes. Second one.
And that was a game we beat him by what?
About 15 20? Or something like that. Yeah, 15, 20. And let's see.
So come on, guys, know the game. Watch the games, man. Don't let the numbers fool you guys.
26 minutes in the first game against Serbia, and that was a blowout, 110-84. So he was out there making sure he got those numbers. Yeah, I guess you could look at it both ways, but I would lean more towards your stance on that he played less in the blowout wins. Not a whole lot.
Because you only showed me one game. It was what was the game? The first one? The Serbia game? You said he played 27 minutes?
Yeah, in the first Serbia game.
And that was the first actual tournament game.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, that makes sense. Why he come in there. He got to make a statement.
Man, whatever.
Come in and make a statement. Like, all right, I'm here.
Yeah, so I just thought it was crazy that Kendrick Perkins is one using something that Michael Jordan didn't have access to, an award, to try and say that puts LeBron over. And quick side note before we open up the phone lines, let me ask you this, right?
Go ahead.
I would say you're more of a LeBron fan than I am. So I guess my question
you think?
Yeah. So my question is this though, right? For all these people who say that LeBron is the GOAT, he's better than Jordan, he's been better than Jordan, cool. Why is it that every time he does something else, they say this makes him the GOAT? I thought he was already the GOAT. I thought he was already better than Jordan. What's that about?
What do you mean?
Like every time he achieves something else, you hear all the people who are LeBron people come out and say, oh, this makes him the GOAT. Now you can't argue. This makes him the GOAT. And I'm like, I thought you said he was already the GOAT, right? But every time he does something else, they say this makes him the GOAT. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you mean by that one. But yeah, I think from their standpoint, because when they say it, like, all right, well, this is it. This will make him the GOAT. You always got that Jordan fan is gonna be like, nah, but look at it like this. You're like, okay, he hasn't proved it yet. Next thing he does, and they try to pile it on top. I stay away from the GOAT conversation. To me, you got to break basketball down by eras. We're never gonna see Jordan be compared to Wilt Chamberlain. We're never going to see Jordan compared to Bill Russell. Like in that same sense, because why? We're talking about different eras. Who they played against. What were the rules? Well, guess what? What are the rules now compared to when Jordan played? What is the game like compared to what Jordan played? You know what I mean? What are the team structures like? What is the GMs like? What is the court like? Literally, what is the court like? They added a 3-point line. You know what I mean? So it's like, come on now. Like, we got to stop comparing stuff that just doesn't make sense.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like the errors just don't matter. So that's why I bowed out a long time ago. And I literally defend LeBron takes on certain things when I feel like they're warranted. But other than that, you want to talk GOAT debates, man, then I'm out of it. I'm respectfully bow out. I treat it like politics. Democrat or Republican, bro, y'all got it. I got to serve my country no matter what, no matter who's in the office, man. So but man, I guess that's from my standpoint. I guess that's why they keep saying it, because when they do say it, it's like, oh well, Jordan had this. Like, okay, y'all don't believe now. All right, well, the next thing, oh wait, this makes him the GOAT now, right? You know what I mean? So I don't know.
All right.
To me, it's nothing that LeBron is ever going to do.
That is correct.
To jump, Jordan fans in the conversation of the GOAT.
Hey, he can win a few more chips. But then at the
win
same
a few
time,
more chips, it's gonna be like, oh, well, you had more chances.
And at the same time, you still lost a whole bunch. And how you did it. So
exactly. So there's nothing he can do.
That's what it is. There's nothing he can do. I'm glad you acknowledge that. Young Disciple, what's good? Good to see you. I love that you say MJ is the GOAT. I don't believe LeBron is a close second, but I respect your opinion. I get why you would say that, but I don't see it. Steve,
how old are you, Young Disciple?
Young Disciple's grown. Young Disciple's grown.
Is it?
Yeah.
Grown?
Not some little kid. Nah.
Okay.
Jordan accomplished more in less time. Facts. Like that's big. And the never losing on the big stage.
Is Patrick Mahomes a GOAT now? Is Patrick Mahomes a GOAT?
He's en route.
No, is he the GOAT now? I'm talking about. I'm asking Steve.
No, he's not. Oh, you're asking Steve. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm asking Steve because Pat accomplished a whole lot in less time.
But did he though? Did he?
A whole lot, yeah.
Okay. The MVPs. Okay. The MVPs. I was about to say Brady won 3 chips. Brady won 3 chips real quick too. Remember early in his career.
Are we going to say Brady won those championships, or are we going to say the New England Patriots won those championships? Because at the beginning, Tom wasn't like the end of his career. Tom, you know what I mean? Like he had them defenses literally anchoring those teams.
What up, G?
All he had to do was not turn over. I'm not going to call him a game manager. I'm never going to call Tom a game manager. But I will say he
totally get what you're saying.
He played good enough to where it's like, okay, I don't need to be great for us to win. My defense is already great. We keeping them up. We're keeping their defense on the field, tiring them out, and things like that. But from what Pat's doing, Pat's literally like, okay, I'm putting this team on my shoulders. We need to drive. We finna go get it. Y'all need to win. I'm finna go do it. But I got to run the ball. Let me go run the ball. You know what I mean? So I think that's the difference. What I'm talking about.
Pat Mahomes is great, but he has a coach that allows him to be great, right? Tom Brady's coach didn't really allow that early on in his career. So, and yes, Pat Mahomes is Hall of Fame now. Tom Brady's coach didn't really allow that early in his career. But the other thing is, though, we gotta, Tom Brady didn't have great numbers through his first Super Bowl run. The second two were a lot better. And that, what was it? Which one was the second one? Carolina, right?
South Carolina.
Yeah. I believe he got 300 passing yards in that game, and he got more than 300 passing yards in the Super Bowl against Philly too, if I'm not mistaken. And so, I point that out to say, like, there's this narrative that he was just, to your point, game manager early on. I'll give you the first playoff run, but after that, like, he really started, coming on like gangbusters. Andy Reid is a big factor in Mahomes' success, just like Brady had factors in his success. True indeed. All right, but let's not go ahead and let this.
Oh man, we start talking football to get crazy.
Well, we know. Let's go ahead and open up the phone lines, 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. Go ahead, give us a call. Why do you guys think that Kendrick Perkins, after telling the truth and kind of waking up, decided that he was going to go back the other way and try to get back on the team with LeBron and Klutch Sports? I think the checks start drying up, but that's just me. Young Disciple says
the second Super Bowl is when he had his best offensive standpoint, but the first and third one he only averaged like 190 yards a game.
Okay,
so he really wasn't.
So the first one he did like 145 yards, I think, and I don't know what he had in the third one. All right,
I'm basing it off the average, the entire playoffs. Yeah,
fair enough. Nobody's been this great for this long, came in with expectations, surpassed them, and is still expected to win. That is correct. Nobody's been this great for this long. Came in with expectations, also correct. Surpassed them, correct. Still expected to win. I don't know if anyone is still expecting him to win championships, but I get your point.
Maybe if he don't, then he gets clowned. So the expectation is for him to still win.
Well, like Kendrick Perkins said earlier, the reason why is because of how he talks and everything that think about. Every time he does anything, he does that stupid crowning himself gesture, right?
Yeah,
the king. And then you see the video with him yelling at his sons, I'm the GOAT, right? And then of course you have his people in the media who are pushing the narrative as well. And so there's a lot of reasons why, there are still expectations on him, not because anyone actually still is expecting him to win championships. Now, be competitive, I can see it, but that is what it is. All right, looks like we're not going to get any calls on this topic. That was a surprise. But
a lot of people had to go and Google who Kendrick Perkins was.
Steve. Okay. Wow. Interesting.
What do you say?
Steve says, well, I'll put it up here. I'm curious to know what that is. Interesting. I'm very curious to know what that is.
You probably know what it is. The same conversation you had before.
I have no idea what that is. We'll talk about it offline.